Hello babes, welcome back to the channel. If you are new, welcome. So in today's video we are going to be speaking about season 6 episode 4 and the chaos with the scrunchie, Charlotte and Harry's dinner, and just the whole debacle of the episode. So let's get into it. Welcome to Iconically Iconic. So the episode opens up with our girl Samantha fully embracing role-playing, something I absolutely support. It keeps relationships exciting, it's fun, it allows partners to explore their desires and boundaries, and it's sexy. Plus, Smith was fine. His acting may not have been so good, but him, yes to it all. Later, the girls meet up with Carrie and Berger for dinner, where Berger tells Miranda the truth about the guy she's interested in, not being interested in her in the same way or at all.
Elaborate.
Look, I'm sorry, but when a guy's really into you, he's coming upstairs, meeting or no meeting.
Oh, that is ludicrous. What about extenuating circumstances? What about you're stressed out, you're on deadline, you have a migraine? Or a lot of guys are afraid of getting their feelings hurt and they don't want to ruin a friendship. Or they're freaked out by their own feelings. There's a lot of push-pull out there, a lot of mixed messages.
Yeah, I'd have to say that's all code for he's just not that into you.
And I agree with him 100%, and it's the only time I agree with him. This is something my father always told me about dating, and that is that there are no mixed signals when it comes to dating, especially with a man. If a man wants to be with you, he will, and nothing will get in his way. Miranda takes his advice, and what I appreciate about her is that she doesn't get defensive the same way Charlotte does. Unlike Charlotte, she isn't driven by desperation or the need for a fairy tale love story. She listens, processes, and moves forward. Meanwhile, Charlotte is preparing a traditional Jewish dinner for Harry, with the girls helping her out. I love this scene so much because it shows how much they care about Charlotte, supporting her in something that's important to her, even if it has nothing to do with them. Miranda, the realist, asks a very obvious question when she sees that Charlotte has scribbled Harry's last name all in her book attached to hers as the Mrs. And that question is, how are you planning a wedding when he hasn't even proposed yet?
November for what? For our wedding. Most of the synagogues are booked through the fall. November works for me.
Has Harry even proposed yet?
Miranda? No, but he will.
Aren't you counting your matzo balls before they rise?
Miranda, zip the lip. Harry and I have an understanding about our future. We don't have to talk about it all the time. It's but shared.
And she was absolutely right. Charlotte had a history of rushing into relationships and even her previous marriage, and you would think she would take a different approach this time. Instead, she's doing wife duties as a girlfriend and setting expectations without even having the conversation with Harry. The following scene, we have Berger in the beginning of his reaction is beyond defensive. It's fragile. If you can't handle even the lightest criticism, writing or any field that involves public opinion is simply not for you. Now, there is a difference between receiving cruel, unwarranted feedback and engaging in a thoughtful decision or some jokes. But Berger doesn't make that distinction. And if we're honest, the issue isn't really the scrunchie. It's that deep down he was in competition with Carrie. So it didn't matter what she said. If it wasn't praise, he was going to feel some type of way about it. And even the praise he felt the way about, oh God, he was insufferable. And look, I actually liked Carrie this season. She was supportive of her friends. She was more mature. She was carefree and happy until they brought Big back. Berger, from the very beginning, always felt like someone who could drain the fun out of the room. He's one of those people that if you make a joke, he has to make the joke technical. Well, actually, that can't happen. Shut up. We know it can't happen. It's a joke. But he's that kind of person. Carrie wasn't being cruel. She made a lighthearted comment, and instead of brushing it off, he turned it into a referendum on his talent. Later, when they're at a bar, they spot a woman actually wearing a scrunchie, and Berger, needing to prove a point, seizes the moment.
We're in the presence of a scrunchie. I also do believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that we are in New York City proper.
Carrie, trying to keep the peace, mutters under her breath that the woman is from out of town.
She's not from New York.
What?
Because at this point, Carrie is well aware that even the smallest disagreement could set him off. And as a New Yorker, we know when you're not from New York. It doesn't matter how you're dressed or how you try to present. We can always tell if you're from New York or not. Born and raised in New York. Not just moved here in a transplant, but born and bred here in New York.
Excuse me? Hi, I'm sorry to bother you. We're just wondering what part of New York you live in.
From Macon, Georgia.
And that is what I despise. I hate that she couldn't be her usual self around him, and it bothered me because one of my closest friends dealt with something similar, and it took her about a year, and I would constantly have conversations with her about it and how things like that often escalate. But it wasn't until he called her out of her name and said that she thought she was better than him when she earned her master's degree that she finally broke it off because of the anger and venom that came from it. And it's what a lot of women deal with when they are successful and their partners, more specifically men, feel in competition with them when they are not where they want to be. Carrie was constantly walking on eggshells to protect his ego, when the truth is he was already insecure. And people like Berger don't just doubt themselves, they make you doubt yourself too when you stay in a relationship with them and you suddenly lose yourself and don't remember who you are because of this person. Instead of admitting their own fears, they chip away at your confidence to level the playing field. It's cowardly, and in Berger's case, exhausting. After the whole scrunchie fiasco, Berger starts shoveling spoonfuls of Carrie's dessert into his mouth like a petulant child, avoiding real communication because he lacks the emotional maturity to express himself properly. Meanwhile, Carrie, trying to soothe his ego, begins over complimenting him and trying to change the subject, essentially tiptoeing around his feelings to keep the peace.
Landmarks or mileposts. I don't. Anyway, I just loved how this sort of punctuated the story. It's just a really nice touch. Oh my God! The introduction, brilliant.
And that's where the problem lies. Men like Berger make everything about themselves. Their behavior often escalates into something far worse, which is emotional and verbal abuse. Not saying that that's who Berger was, but in real life, that's what happens. The silent treatment, berating, guilt tripping, the constant need to be the victim, it's all a form of control. And for it to have been this early in their relationship was insane. And again, yes, it's a TV show, but it depicts real life situations. And while Carrie is far from perfect, something I've pointed out many times, no one deserves to be treated that way. Berger's behavior in later episodes reinforces this, especially the motorcycle scene. He knew she was afraid, yet he deliberately sped up, disregarding her fear entirely. And as someone who hates speeding, where Carrie was coming from, I felt exactly where Carrie was coming from. It was a calculated move and power play meant to silence her, to make her feel small, and to dim her light in that moment so he could shine brighter. This is exactly how toxic relationships begin, subtle red flags that many women overlook, excusing them as mood swings or insecurities, when in reality, they're warning signs of deeper manipulation. Meanwhile, Charlotte and Harry's dinner takes a turn. Charlotte has worked tirelessly to prepare this meal, and Harry didn't really seem to appreciate all of the effort put into not just this dinner, but fully embracing Harry's culture and traditions. The girls helping her earlier emphasized how much this meant to her, but when the moment finally arrives, Harry barely acknowledges her effort, casually watching TV, and when Charlotte tells him to turn it off, she brings up the fact that she gave up Christianity for him.
Why is the TV on?
It's on mute.
Mute? Mute? We're having Shabbos dinner.
It's a big game, honey.
Turn it off. I want you to turn it off right this minute.
But it's...
Off now.
Let me just watch this one pitch.
I gave up Christ for you, and you can't give up the Mets?
It's gonna be a long life if you keep that up.
Now, this moment to me is telling because deep down, Charlotte likely didn't realize how much this sacrifice weighed on her. It wasn't just about religion, it was about her own sense of identity, her need to belong, and her fear that it still might not be enough. Harry understandably questions why she keeps bringing it up and if it will be a recurring thing, and rightfully so. Now this is when our girl Charlotte loses it.
One of them.
Instead of addressing her feelings directly, she lashes out in a cruel, deeply personal way, essentially telling Harry that he isn't worthy of marrying her and he should be grateful she even wants to be with him. This was so unnecessary, mean-spirited, and just damaging. Harry had every right to walk away. If you truly love someone, it isn't about putting someone on a pedestal so you can feel superior, especially a marriage. It's about a partnership, respect, and mutual appreciation. And in that moment, Charlotte treated him as if he were beneath her. What frustrated me about this is that Harry wasn't a boyfriend who took advantage of Charlotte. He wasn't dismissive or unkind. He just simply didn't perform gratitude in the way Charlotte wanted, which is also tied to your love language. Charlotte's love language was acts of service and giving, and that wasn't necessarily Harry's. So it meant more to Charlotte than it did to Harry. And while he may have overlooked how much this moment meant for her, it didn't justify what she said to him. And look, Charlotte, for all of her warmth and charm, had a habit of throwing tantrums and lashing out when things didn't go her way. And because she was wealthy, poised, and carried herself with a certain grace, people often overlooked some of her problematic behaviors. And I love Charlotte down. But if we can call out Carrie, we can also call out Charlotte. Charlotte's issue wasn't just impatience for marriage, it was image. Yes, she loved love, and that is undeniable, but she loved the idea of marriage as well. The wedding, the title, and the societal approval. And because of that, she rushed into relationships without fully communicating her needs or getting to know someone completely, believing that if she played the role of the perfect wife before marriage, the proposal would naturally follow. But that's not how relationships work, or they work for a short while and then crumble. Back to Carrie and Berger. As they walk back to her apartment, Berger has yet another outburst. This man is the literal definition of exhausting. Sir, are you not tired?
I'm so tired, child. I'm so tired. I'm really tired.
Carrie is still trying to pacify him, and in his response, he takes a cheap shot at her headpiece. Just childish and petty to make her feel insecure. The way I would have read this man down, first of all, how dare you talk about anybody's headpiece with what you have on, sir? Please don't even think about it. You need to just zip your lip. You know, back in the day when they used to tell you, zip it, lock it, and put it in your pocket, that's what Berger needed to do. Anyways, and then predictably, he tries to gaslight her. But the truth comes out. His anger isn't about Carrie or the scrunchie or even the headpiece. It's about his own insecurities regarding his book. Instead of admitting his fears and working through them, he projects them onto Carrie, trying to bring her down because he already feels low. Now, first of all, it was way too early in their relationship for this level of drama, or for any drama at all. Carrie should have left him outside her building and told him to go find a therapist. But I think Carrie was trying to make this relationship work because of her failed prior relationships and thought this was something small that he could get over. But he couldn't, because her success was always a reminder of his failures. Yes, you should uplift your partner, but it is not your responsibility to carry the full weight of their insecurities. That is a burden too heavy for anyone. And in Berger's case, it was crystal clear that no amount of reassurance would ever be enough. And with that being said, this video has come to an end. Don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Also, don't forget to turn on your notification bells so that you're always notified when I upload. I will be doing Sex and the City season by season, so be on the lookout for that. And I will catch you guys in the next one.